Welcome back. We now head down to the tracks to Proctor for the final round of the Bill McGain Holiday Classic, named after the former UMD Bulldog captain. Tonight, the Rails welcome the Northern Lakes Lightning into town. The Rails looking for some home ice advantage as the finals were in their own barn. But it was the Lightning who would strike first. Loose puck is kept in the zone by Wyatt Balmer, whose shot goes off the glove and in. Northern Lakes grabs the early 1-0 lead. But the Rails would answer right back. Defenseman Carson Palovich unloads a rocket of his own from the blue line. He beats the tender, and we're all square at one apiece at the end of one. Now the Rails trail by one, but on a 5-on-3 power play, crisp passing, and Tanner Ross is able to beat the goalie short side, quite the celly too, as Proctor ties it up at 2. And just 49 seconds later, it's Ross again, getting it on net, but this time it's Wyatt Manahe who deposits the loose change, 2 goals in a blink, and the Rails grab the 3-2 lead. Proctor would add 2 more insurance goals late in the third, and they win their 4th straight, and they are the tournament champions with a 5-2 win. And next we head down the road for the final round of the Heritage Hockey Classic Tournament, featuring 2 teams quite familiar with one another in the Cloquet-Esco Carlton Lumberjacks and those Denfeld Hunters. There's a look at the Heritage Cup. The winner will be drinking pop out of that after the game, as the 2 goalies were ready to stand on their heads. We start in the first period. Lumberjacks are able to win the faceoff. Point shot gets deflected in front, and it's Joey Ananuti who's there to get the lucky bounce. He breaks the ice and gives the Jacks the lead. But just 5 minutes later, Brady Wick snaps one on net, and John Scott puts the rebound home. The most nonchalant celebration I've ever seen as the Hunters tie it up at 1. Then we jump to the second period. Lumberjacks on the fast break. Ryan Jones unloads an absolute rocket, beating Connor Doyle. Top cheese. CAC takes the lead right back, 2-1. The Hunters would respond again, this time on the power play. It's Nolan Harju with a masterclass in-wheel snipe, and the eventual celebration. We're all tied up at 2 at the end of the second period. The game would remain tied into overtime until Denfeld scored the game winner to become the Heritage Hockey Classic Tournament champions with the 4-3 win. So not Thursday night face-off last 2 weeks. We'll be back next week, but a mini Thursday night, Friday night face-off.
You ready for some